Hello, all you amazing people, and welcome to the video. In this video, I am going to talk about the best ways that you can utilize all the techniques and strategies and coping mechanisms and all that type of stuff you're slowly putting into your toolkit as you start your DPDR recovery. How to think about them, how to use them, how to give yourself your best chance, because the chances are that when you start learning all these techniques and when you have to actually start implementing them, when the pressure's really on, it might actually be quite difficult. What coping strategies and new techniques can do for you. When you're struggling with something for longer than you'd like, it's important to have coping mechanisms or techniques you can use to help you through it. With DPDR, there are many techniques and strategies you can use. Grounding, forming new habits, changing your thinking, learning new ways to behave, meditation, relaxation, mental discipline, and so on. Learning and using new techniques and changing behaviors and habits can sometimes be challenging because you need to do something which is new and something that you're not used to. It might lead you to become exhausted, frustrated, resistant, hesitant, confused, or worried. This point is quite important because sometimes when people use techniques, they pretty much expect instant results. Or if they use it and it doesn't work, they're just like, well, this technique doesn't work, I'm never using this again. And that can lead to frustration and, being confused and worried about if this is going to continue. So how do you actually not become exhausted and not get frustrated and not get worried? So how to make new techniques and strategies work for you? Practice them when you don't need them. Do this because when the pressure is on and you really need them, you're much more likely to succeed. Some people do fall into this mistake where they only ever use a technique when they need it. And the sort of flaw with this is that when you really need it, the pressure is really on, isn't it? So you don't want to be sort of practicing the techniques when you actually need them. And I can use the same analogy as, say, a basketball game, and you've got to take a foul shot. If you get the shot in, you win the game. If you don't get it in, you lose the game. That's not the best time to be practicing taking foul shots, is it? And it is the same with techniques. If you do happen to be feeling good and you've noticed that meditation techniques make you feel good when you're in a bad state, then practice the meditation when you do feel good anyway, just as a form of practice. See using the technique as an opportunity to practice. When you feel bad and you need to use a technique, it'll be helpful if you look at it as an opportunity to practice that technique. You don't need to love the technique. You don't even need to like it, but it'll really help you if you thought of doing the technique as something that is going to help you make progress. Some people are resistant to these techniques. They're new, they're different, they're not used to them. And some people can feel quite annoyed that they have to do them. So if you look at it as an opportunity just to practice the technique and you thought of doing the technique as something which is going to help you make progress, then this is going to make you a lot less resistant and actually see the benefits in it, which is going to make the technique easier to do. This one might sound really obvious, but I would really encourage you to use the techniques and the strategies that you have learned. Actually using the technique is going to build confidence, hope, and self-esteem. How? Because if you do something that normally triggers you and the bad feelings aren't there, you'll just think you were lucky, and that won't generalize to the next time you're in that situation. In other words, it's an external reason why you feel okay. However, if you feel bad, use the technique and make yourself feel better, you'll say to yourself, wow, I was able to cope with this by myself. That means it's an internal reason you feel okay. Because it's internal, this will give you self-confidence. It's very important to take ownership of what you're doing here and don't just leave it to the beck and whim of everything external to you. Taking ownership and responsibility and being accountable for your own recovery is really going to go a long way to build your confidence and your self-esteem. The reason that is because you learn that you have what it takes to deal with the situation. So you teach yourself you are enough to cope with life. This does wonders for confidence and self-esteem. That is such a big one, realizing that you have what it takes to deal with life, because a lot of people, their confidence in every aspect of their life really gets shattered here because they think that they have no control over what's happening. Perhaps you think that you're not going to get better. I'm missing out on all these opportunities and all that type of stuff. But if you start to take ownership of your recovery and start to be responsible for it, and you actually are accountable for your recovery rather than just leaving it all up to chance and everything external to you, then this is going to absolutely build wonders in your confidence and your self-esteem, to the point where you will start to realize, hey, that future I want, I'm actually going to be able to get that. And hey, this recovery that I want, that is actually starting to happen. And that is because of me making the effort and thinking about all these techniques the right way. If you'd like to chat to me about some techniques that you can possibly do, or some of the techniques that you're using, then you can find my Instagram and Facebook info in the description, so you can send me a message. Or if you'd like a more detailed chat and also get a bit of info about working with me and me coaching you through your DPDR, then book a discovery call with me, and that info is also in the description of the video. So until next time, you all have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.